Hey, you are now rocking with the best. Parrish in the building. Bleav in Cowboys. We are presented by our new sponsor, FanDuel. Now, usually I'm joined by Jesse Holly. He's taking a day off, but it's all good because I'm joined by my player partner. You see him on TV, Good Morning Football. Hey, the man, the myth, the legend, Isaiah Stanback is in the building. What's good, Brody?
Hey, listen, man, I know I'm not Jesse. I know people are used to seeing Jesse. You know, I'm the better looking version of Jesse. You know, people get us mixed up all the time. You know, we was even at an event last night with Jerry Jones, and Jerry Jones was like, "Hey, Jesse, it's good to see you." And I was like, "I'm not Jesse. I'm not Jesse at all." But that just means that people know him in the streets.
No, hey, I'm glad that you addressed the elephant in the room early because I'm literally standing next to you on the sidelines at training camp just the other day. And a fan right behind us, hey, Jesse, you look like you still can play, my man.
Yeah, I know. It's okay, man. They see a tall black dude with dreads, and they automatically assume that, hey, you know, it's 1686. It doesn't really matter what number you are. It's all good. We're all the same.
Yeah, we all look alike. Wink, wink. Nah, man, but I definitely appreciate you taking out the time. I know it's early where you are. I'm back in the friendly confines of the DFW and the Metroplex. You still out there on the left coast at training camp. So let's jump right into it because we know the big news. Obviously, Micah Parsons has not been signed yet. The latest news has come out that he has requested a trade. He wants out of here. So, Dred, I want your feedback. What do you think? What are your thoughts?
Nah, I don't think it's real. It's just, I think it's one of the tactics and strategies that guys use whenever they get to a point where they feel like there's a stalemate. It's the leverage that they have, you know, especially now with the days with social media and the fan support. You know, it's one of those things where you can kind of throw something out there as a player and then you can back up and let the fans really apply the pressure. So I think we're seeing more of that. You know, Scary Terry's doing the same thing. So it's kind of the strategy that's going forward. This deal is going to get done. It's not an issue at all. There might be a little bit of a stalemate. Reality is it just doesn't always happen on the player's time.
No question. We know how that goes. And if we're looking at the Cowboys, how they usually do things, it's always going to be at the last minute, which means it's going to cost them a little bit more, seeing how the market's looking when it comes to pass rushers. We know Max Crosby got paid. We know that TJ Watt got paid. We know that Myles Garrett got paid. And that number seems to go up, 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 and up, and up. You already know, racks on racks on racks on racks. Hey, and you have a very, very close relationship, obviously, with the Dallas Cowboys. Your time spent there, obviously working very close with the players and in the organization. I just got to know, what is the pulse of the team? What is the culture like now, seeing how this drama has been just stretched out and could have been handled a long time ago?
Yeah, I honestly don't believe that it's affecting the players. It's gotten to the point now, but when it comes around to player negotiations with their contracts, the teammates kind of detach. They understand that business is business. You know, maybe 10, 15 years ago, it'd been a little bit different, but now it's so common every single year. The Dallas Cowboys and every other organization is in a stalemate with somebody within their team that they're trying to get signed. Somebody's in the middle of their deal or has a year left on their deal and they want more money. So there's this tug of war between players trying to get the money that they deserve based upon the performance that they have, and ownership trying to literally just say, oh, well, we have a working contract. Like, you signed this deal. We're still time left on this deal. And you're telling me to tear this one up and give you more money, not only for what you've done, but I'm going to be paying you based upon what I expect you to do. So there's always this tug of war from organizational structure, and the players is common now. The guys aren't tripping. It's very, very high energy at the Dallas Cowboys camp right now. Highly competitive. Coach Schottenheimer is doing a good thing in terms of what he's bringing to this organization.
No, he definitely is. And we talked about that, the energy that is at training camp. You spoke on how different it is in comparison to what you've seen in the past. But before we wrap up things with Micah, I'm just a little perplexed because usually when you have a player, and I've seen some awesome stats when it comes to him, you know, there's only 2 players that have had 12 or more sacks in their first 4 seasons in NFL history, Micah Parsons and Reggie White. So that's great company right there. Rest in peace to the great Hall of Famer, Super Bowl champion. So when you have a player that's just in that caliber alone, in that class, and seeing that draft picks that were picked in his draft class, a lot of them have already been extended and being paid handsomely. It's just shocking to see that someone of Micah Parsons' stature has not been signed yet.
Yeah, and that's when you have to really understand from the business side, right? For those that haven't necessarily ran their own business, like there's things that you have to wait on. There's situations that you have to play out. When you start talking about roster management and salary cap management, you have to understand that you're not just signing guys based upon your now. If you're doing things correctly, you're looking up to the future. And for those that know anything about the Dallas Cowboys roster, Micah's going to get his money. So let's just leave that be. He's going to get his bread from the Cowboys, okay? He's going to be the highest paid, just when it happens. But understand the impact, and based upon how they structure that deal, is going to impact whether or not they can sign George Pickens next year, because George Pickens is on his last year of his deal. I don't know if you guys noticed, but we traded for George Pickens. So he's playing for a big contract. So you have to be in position to pay him next year. You know who else you have to pay next year? Your Pro Bowl guard, Tyler Smith. That's somebody else that you got to have to pay and find some money. Oh, and by the way, there's a guy by the name of Deron Bland who, if he balls out like he's done in the past, he's going to be looking for a payday as well. So there's a trickle-down effect that people need to understand when you start talking about roster management. I know people love their guys, and their guys are going to get taken care of, but there's a way in which it has to be structured so that you can set yourself up for your team to be successful. Because if you're paying 3 guys or 4 guys at the top 3 or 5 of their position in the NFL, there's probably not enough money for you to build a solid team to actually go out and compete and win the thing that everybody's been complaining about the Dallas Cowboys not attaining, and that's the Lombardi Trophy.
Yeah, it's been a long time since that Lombardi Trophy was captured. I believe a Tupac and a Biggie were still alive the last time the Cowboys hoisted that trophy. I mean, let's keep it a buck. When it comes to negotiations, we've heard a lot of different things. We've heard that David Milageta has reached out to the Cowboys and his calls haven't been answered. We've heard that there's actually an offer on the table and Micah hasn't accepted it. We've heard that they agreed in principle. We've heard a lot of things, but one thing is we haven't seen a deal actually be consumed or consummated yet. That's the word I'm trying to use.
Yeah, the reality is the number's set. This is almost like a draft slotting. Like there's not much negotiation that's really required. You know the guys, you know his numbers, you know the specs, you know the comparisons, you know the TJ Watts and Myles Garrett's, the Trey Hendricksons. You understand what those guys have done numbers wise. You know where Micah really lies in that pecking order. The number is 41. That's what the number is. It's $41 million a year. That's the number. There's not much bickering that has to go back and forth. So what does it come down to? Guaranteed money. What does it come down to? What are some of these incentives that are in there? Are there any injury clauses? Are there trade clauses? These are very simple conversations that have to take place, I would imagine. So it's not very complex. It just comes down to the minute details. What has happened here in the beginning of training camp? Injuries, tons of injuries. So if I go out there and I don't structure this deal right, even though I want to get you signed, I want to get you signed. You know what your number is. I know what your number is. But if I don't do this right, then I can't go acquire other guys to fill those gaps that we need as our team to go be successful. Because I can sign you to a big deal, Ro. I can sign you to a big boy deal, give you all the cash. But if we suck a year or two from now, you're going to be wanting to get out of this deal and get traded. So there's a lot of give and take, man. Ultimately, these guys have a good relationship. Ultimately, this is all about business. And ultimately, these guys both want to win ball games.
No question about it. We know that David Milageta, as I mentioned him earlier, he was just voted the #1 most powerful agent in the NFL by Forbes. Anytime he negotiates a deal, I say 9 times out of 10, it's going to be a record breaker. Something tells me this one's going to be a record breaker as well.
Yeah. Straight guaply, a.k.a. cheddar. Get your chicken.
No question. So, hey, you did mention Pickens, and we've seen him out there making plays. The chemistry with Dak so far, what you've seen, obviously being a pass catcher yourself, also knowing what it takes to be behind that line of scrimmage at the under center, calling plays.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on the chemistry between those two so far in camp?
It's improving. It's improving rapidly. And, CeeDee Lamb's had to take a little bit of a backseat here at training camp just so that those two, Dak and Pickens, can figure it out and get that chemistry and that symmetry together. But you're starting to see, where Pickens is understanding from Dak and they're communicating, hey, I want you in this hole, or hey, guess what? Maybe the ball's a little bit behind you. It's still a touchdown. You still caught the ball, but the location is not where we want it. So they complete it. They get the touchdown. They celebrate, but then they talk. Right? This is what I was looking for. When you see this zone, I want you right here. Throttle a little bit right here. Like, give me your eyes. Like, all the nonverbal communication, all these things are getting worked out, all these kinks, so that when week 1 shows up and they're playing on Thursday night against the Philadelphia Eagles in Philly, these guys don't have to be worried about some of these logistics that they're that they're working through right now in training camp.
So, I mean, what do you like about Pickens so far? I mean, obviously, we know he comes in from the Pittsburgh Steelers. We know that he can stretch the defense. We know that he's a hell of an athlete. We know that his kicks are always going to be on point. He's always going to have that heat on his feet. But just looking at him from a wide receiver standpoint, from a player that played the position, what attributes do you like about his game?
Yeah, I like the fact that he attacks the ball. And you don't really see that as much in today's NFL game. You see a lot of guys that they catch the ball, but they're chest catchers, right? So they catch it with their bodies. He really goes out and snatches the ball. He's lanky. He's tall. He's like 6'4". He's really, really long. He has really elusive speed, which means that it's kind of like Randy Moss, right? Randy Moss was fast, but he didn't look like he was running fast, right? It's kind of this. If you see a giraffe run, like a giraffe doesn't look fast, but if you clock them, they're moving. You know what I'm saying? So get with a giraffe if you want to. He has these long, lanky legs, so he's able to get on the toes of the defender. And then when it comes down to this contested catch thing and this high ball, these deep balls that he's very well known for, it's because he literally uses his length to go out and separate his body and his arms to go grab the ball. There's a big difference between catching it on your chest and using my 3-foot arms to reach out and snag the ball and keep the defender at bay. These are the little small details that really make the separation between good players and great players in the NFL, and this is why he's at the top.
And people are going to listen to this podcast and say, oh, no, he didn't put Randy Moss in the same conversation. Let me just say this. My man Isaiah played with Randy Moss in New England, so he saw him up close and personal on a daily basis, so he knows what it looks like.
Yeah, I could drop that name from time to time and actually have some credibility. I played with T.O. and I played with Randy Moss, 2 of the top 5 ever. So, yeah, I can bring that up from time to time for a comparison.
Man, hey, shouts out to T.O. Of course, shout out to Randy Moss. I'm glad that he's doing a lot better. We know that he had some health concerns recently, beating cancer. I mean, while we're on the topic, I mean, the question comes up all the time, and I'm going to put you on the spot. I mean, I'm just saying, because we cool like that. I'm going to put you on the spot. So, I mean, if we're picking between Randy Moss, Terrell Owens, who are you going with and why?
I am putting T.O. one spot ahead of Moss, right? So I'm going Jerry Rice, T.O., and then I'm going Randy Moss. And the reason why is because Randy Moss was really smart. And I think that gave him a leg up on a lot of guys. I don't feel as if he has the route tree variety that T.O. has. I feel like T.O., no matter what route you give him, like he's going to make it happen. And that's not to say that Randy Moss can't, but he had his preference in terms of the type of routes that he likes to run. He likes to run digs. He likes to run posts. He likes to run post corners. A lot of this stuff is usually past the 12 to 15-yard mark versus T.O. You really felt like he was comfortable running anything. Randy Moss really didn't want to run a slant and get in there with the linebackers, right? He'll do it if he had to, right? But that wasn't necessarily his thing. There wasn't a route that you would give T.O. that he felt like he didn't want to have or who didn't want to smoke with. So for that reason, I give it to T.O. Okay,
not mad at that at all. And of course, you're more than qualified to answer that question, having played with both. I mean, and when it comes down to it, I mean, dog, either 81, you can't go wrong
with either one. Can't go wrong with either one.
You can't go wrong. Of course, it's Bleav in Cowboys, Ro Parrish, along with Isaiah Stanback. Of course, we are now brought to you by FanDuel. And if we're brought to you by FanDuel, that means cha-ching. Oh, yeah. Come on with that bread. So we've been at training camp. We had a good time the other day. I appreciate you for showing me love and all that good stuff. You said one thing when we had our conversation. You're paying close attention to what's going on in the trenches, the offensive line and the defensive line. We know that the offensive line has had a number of injuries. We saw Tyler Guyton go out, and we have replacements coming in. Just your thoughts on the current status of the offensive line.
Yeah, I think they're figuring it out. I think they're re-identifying themselves as a run-first type of offensive line. Clayton Adams coming over from the Arizona Cardinals, he has a standard. He has a real standard. And for people who don't know who he is, look him up. He was the league's best offensive line coach. And the Dallas Cowboys said, give me that, like Chris Brown, come over here with us. You're no longer an offensive line coach. You're now offensive coordinator, right? Primarily fitting the role of the offensive line coach. They also got the offensive line coach from Kansas State, who just happened to be Cooper Beebe's old coach. And he's one of the best in college football. So these guys have 2 really high intellect, get after it type offensive line coaches that are working with these guys. To your point, they've had a lot of injuries, and Tyler Guyton's going to be out for a while. that does not help this offensive line. Now you're rolling in between Nate Jones, I Bleav, and who else they got out there? I can't remember. Oh, yeah, Austin Richards. So you're back to a little bit of the musical chairs when you don't want to be in that position. But I think that they have a solid line. They just have to get this continuity together, get that identity together to what point where no matter who they face, and again, let's go back to the Philadelphia Eagles. That's the best D-line in football, just hands down. So that's your first matchup. But you're going to have a good idea of where these Cowboys offensive line stand when Tuesday rolls around and Ernest Young and company come over here and Jared Verse come over here against against the offensive line. That's going to give you a good idea of where you're at, because that's probably the only time you're going to have a chance to see your offensive line versus a defensive line of that starting caliber outside of your team prior to week 1.
Of course, referencing when the Los Angeles Rams will be traveling to training camp to face the Dallas Cowboys in a controlled scrimmage / practice, whatever, what have you. So obviously there's one word that you mentioned. You said identity. Now, when we're looking at, and obviously, bro, I know it is super early. We've only been in training camp a little bit over a week or so, maybe a little bit more. My mind slips to me right now. 8 days of practice. 8 days. Okay, thank you. A little bit over a week. Yeah. But as far as the identity so far, what do you think specifically the identity of this offensive line? We know what it wants to be, but what do you think it is going to be?
I don't think they've established one yet. I truly don't. I don't think that the offensive line has their identity yet. I think that this team is starting to have an identity, and I think that that identity is competitive. And that's a term that kind of gets overutilized a lot of times, but it's something that they're really preaching hard, and you're seeing it from all different levels. And the thing that I love about what Coach Schottenheimer is bringing to this team in terms of their new identity of being a competitive ball club is that they're getting rewarded for being competitive. Oftentimes when you get to college, NFL, we even see it in some of these guys that's listening. I would imagine you guys have young athletes or in high school, you kind of see this pecking order. You see, maybe your kid's coming up and there's somebody that's in the one slot and they're doing everything that they're supposed to be doing. The one slot's not. But guess what? They remain at the one slot because they either know the coach, or in the NFL, they're getting paid the most, or in college, they're getting that big NIL deal and they're selling the jerseys. In this organization right now with Coach Schottenheimer, if you're the one and you're not taking care of your business and the number 2 is get out, 2's getting in there. We are going to reward them for the positive things that they're doing. We're going to reward them for handling their mental assignments, not having any lows, not having any mental errors. They're taking care of their physical assignments, executing. We're going to reward that individual. And if you continue to not do your job as a one, you're not getting your spot back. And I love that from the competitive side, because it really creates this team environment that everybody feels as if I do what I'm supposed to do, I have a real shot. And it's one of the most, what's the best way to say this? It's one of the reasons why I retired. I retired because I was tired of the politics of sports, where it didn't matter how well I did or how I executed or how versatile I was.
You didn't feel like you had a chance. No matter what you did, no matter how hard you trained, no matter how many plays you made, you weren't going to have a shot because this person was going to be slotted ahead of you no matter what.
Exactly. And they are doing away with that culture that's been around the NFL. It's not just the Cowboys. It's been around the whole NFL for a very long time. And I love that, because now you're going to see guys getting after it. Everybody 1 through 5 on the depth chart, preseason games actually matter. It's not like, we have 50 of our 53 guys already figured out. It's very difficult to go compete and play your hardest when you're in that situation. We got 90, 45, 50 other guys on this team right now that are trying to play and earn a spot. And you're telling us there's only 3 spots available. I mean, imagine being in that position at work. It's hard. So I love the fact that these guys are having a real opportunity to compete.
So, I mean, you've been around the guys, and clearly from your standpoint, you look at it as something that's definitely needed. But what's the team's feel? How do you gauge how the current players have looked at the way this new culture is being implemented?
They like it. And what it is, what's taking place is you got veterans that can't afford to take plays off. You have veterans that are like, you know what? Yeah, I might be the one right now, but if I sit on that sideline for too long, that young buck right there is going to get some good film out there. And when the practice is over, the coaches go watch film. They're going to red dot and be like, hey, Donovan Ezeiruaku is really coming up. Dante Fowler better pick it up. Or Sam Williams, he's been out for a minute, but he's starting to come along, or whoever it is you want to name all over the spectrum. guys have real opportunities. So it drives this competitive nature from the top down, and that only makes your team better.
Now, I heard you mention Ezaraku. We know he comes in as a high draft pick, second rounder out of Boston College, one of the ACC's most dominant pass rushers. You mentioned it also when we had a conversation at training camp. What are your thoughts on his game so far, and how has he looked to you out there?
Nasty. Was nasty. Thinking about Micah Parsons and Dante Fowler Jr. being on the line again is nasty. And people hear Dante Fowler Jr., they kind of, whatever. That boy had 10.5 sacks last year. 10.5. So you add that with Micah Parsons, you might have some problems. But if per se one of those guys decides to take a breather and come out, there's a dude by the name of Donovan Ezaraku that the Dallas Cowboys drafted this year, and he is quick. He's explosive. He has good size. He has good dip. He's versatile in his moves. He's not just running into the guys. He's dipping around the outside. He's spinning back inside, and he's getting better. And every rep that he takes, he has Aaron Whitecotton in his ear. Who is Aaron Whitecotton? Well, Aaron Whitecotton is another acquisition that Coach Schottenheimer grabbed. And I know I talked about the O-line acquisitions he had from the coaching position. Aaron Whitecotton is the best defensive line coach in the NFL. You know where he came from? The New York Jets. Jets. He stole him from the New York Jets and said, come over here with us. We got something brewing. So Aaron Whitecotton is in his ear every play. You know who else is in Donovan Ezaraku's ear?
Who that?
Number 11, the guy that's waiting on his contract. The guy we're talking about. Micah Parsons is coaching him up every opportunity he gets because he is engaged, not only just for the show, but he knows that if this dude can get off and he can ball out too, that's going to free me up even more. It just makes it even. You have 2 defensive ends that can get the quarterback. You have 2 receivers that can catch the rock. It makes it very difficult for offenses or defenses to stop what you're trying to do.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to seeing what Matt Eberflus does. We know that he didn't have the greatest time in being a head coach, but as far as a defensive coordinator goes, we know what he did in Indianapolis as far as getting that defensive set, forcing turnovers, and getting the ball back for the offense.
Yeah, Eberflus is a defensive genius. And people, you can disregard what he did as a head coach. Everybody's not a head coach. You know, you work for the opportunity because you were so successful at being a D coordinator, being a linebackers coach, being a D coordinator, and then you kill it so well that they're like, you should be a head coach. And you're like, yeah, I should be a head coach. Give me the money. And you go do it. It doesn't work out. So what do you go back to? I'm still a defensive genius. So that's why he's back in Dallas again for his second stint, and he is really good at what he does. I can't speak on all the things that I'm seeing because I know some of the stuff he wants to keep close to the chest, but I can tell you what, offenses, y'all better watch some film. Y'all better prepare. Y'all better communicate because all these different fronts and all these different looks and how those different schemes and looks affect the offensive line's responsibilities in terms of blocking schemes, he's going to be a problem. And all these resources that he has in terms of talent, especially when you have this deep defensive end room where these guys can play the D line or they can drop back and be linebackers, that gives him so much range and so much versatility. And there's still a lot of guys that are injured. You know, think about when Demo comes back. Oh, can't wait.
So you've been out there, you've seen a lot. Is there one player that stood out that we haven't talked about yet? Somebody that you can mention that people might need to start paying attention to?
You know what? I'm going to say something that's not common, and people probably have to go look up who this cat is. Tight end, Tyler Neville, number 46, I Bleav. You talk about somebody who you would look past, wouldn't even acknowledge. But when you put the pads on, you find out who wants to smoke. And at yesterday's practice, my eyes were open. I saw the light, bro. I saw the light. And I saw this man that's going to be competing for a role on this roster. And again, they're talking about that competition. You know, Hunter Lipke is somebody's name that we've heard a lot, right? Hunter Lipke played fullback. He plays plays tight end, I guess you could say.
Versatile. Yeah, right.
He better be looking over his shoulder because this Tyler Neville cat wants to smoke. He is a Hunter Lipke-ish type of person, but he's a true tight end that can go back to fullback. And when I say this dude, I love me some Damone Clark, but Damone Clark got hemmed up yesterday. I mean, Neville locked him up and hemmed him up, and there was a little bit of a tussle. And Donovan, you ever been in a situation you're like, get off me? Me? And he's just like, nah, you ain't going nowhere. And that's how it was. And then like 2 plays later, there's a linebacker named Justin Barron just came in. He's a big linebacker too. And I say Neville came through the hole, was playing the fullback position and hit this cat. and threw him out the club. I'm talking about no white tees, get to the back of the line. And you should tell he's like, yeah, and what? I got more for you. So I'm looking forward to seeing him not only at the tight end position and what he can do in a preseason, but also what he's going to do in that running game and being able to be a blocker. Whenever you have somebody that's that well-versed and that diverse, you know that you can use him on all four special teams as well. So I'm looking forward to seeing him.
Yeah, he's built like a grown-ass man. Tyler Neville, number 46, 250, 6'3", out of Virginia, a rookie coming in, and he means business. And we know that you mean business. Tell everybody where we can find you if we want to hear more of your football expertise.
Listen up, man. First of all, you guys need to follow me on all the social handles, okay? I'm trying to improve my social relevance. So I am Stanback, okay? I am Stanback. I just started a TikTok account, bro. So I'm learning. I'm not the old man in the room no more. So y'all go ahead and follow your boy on IG. I don't do a whole lot of Twitter stuff. I try to, but I'm mostly IG. And I will be doing some more TikTok stuff. And then you guys can find me on Good Morning Football throughout the season over on NFL Network. I do some stuff over there with my guys at CBS Texas on CBS 11. I'll be doing a pregame show over there with Bill Jones and company. And then, man, just keep your ears peeled. You never know. You never know. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to be international out here. I'm trying to be like Pitbull. You know what I'm saying? All over worldwide, baby.
Nah, man. Hey. And just to keep it a buck, we appreciate everybody that's locked in. Jesse couldn't be here today, so Isaiah graciously filled in. But, man, me and Isaiah go way back, like way back. Mm-hmm. And I'll just say this. I've said it privately, but I'll say it publicly. I'm proud of you and everything that you've accomplished and everything that you're still going to do. I know you got major things on deck. By the way, shout out to Sky, who's out there on that track, cutting up, setting personal records left and right.
Yeah, my daughter's out there killing it. She just placed 18th in 200 meters in the country for her age group and 15th in the country in the 100 meters, and she's about to run the 4x1. So, genetics is one thing, but when you see your kids take the genetics, apply hard work and dedication, chef's kids love it. Girl, dad.
Yeah. Nah, it's a beautiful thing. Continue success to all your kids who are all athletes in their own right. They follow in great footsteps. Shouts out to Nat as well. Much love to everybody. And we appreciate you. Well, you see that clock is ticking. I know you have important things to do. Before we get out of here, any words you want to leave the people with?
Only thing that I want to say, and you guys need to make sure you guys channel this, is you're now rocking with the best.
Hey, there it is. Hey. That's my man, Isaiah Stanback. Follow him on all these social platforms and get up with him early on Good Morning Football. And, of course, if you're local in the DFW, check him out, CBS Texas. I'm Ro Parrish. That's my man, Dread. Love, respect, and salute.